Hello learners, in this video we will discuss the factoring method, factoring the difference of two squares. Now, to use this special case of factoring, the following conditions should be met. The polynomial is a binomial and the operation between the terms is subtraction. The numerical coefficients have square roots. In other words, they must be perfect squares. And last, the exponents of each of the variables should be an even number. Now, if the conditions are met, we can now use the pattern of the factor of the difference of two squares, a plus b times a minus b. Now, your a squared ay yung first term ng ating given na polynomial. And yung b squared naman ay yung ating last term. And kunin yung square root ng dalawang value na yun. Pagkatapos, isubstitute lamang sa pattern na a plus b times a minus b. And that is the factor of the given binomial na merong square roots or perfect squares. So let us have an example. We have factor 144a squared minus b raised to the power of 4. So the numerical coefficients, which are 144 and negative 1 or 1, okay, have square roots and the variable's exponents are even numbers. Thus, we can use the factoring method that factoring the difference of two squares. Now, let us identify the value of our a squared and b squared. A squared is 144a squared, and the value of our b squared is b raised to the power of 4. Now let us get the square roots of a squared and b squared. To square the exponent of the variable, just multiply the exponent by 2. On the other hand, to find the root of the exponent of the variable, just divide the exponent by 2. So yun yung gagawin natin sa ating variables if gusto natin kunin yung kanilang square root. Let us just divide, okay, their exponents by 2 and kung ano na yung result nun, yun yung square root ng ating given na variable. Kaya, ang kailangan natin na condition is merong exponent na even number yung ating variables. Kasi pag ang exponent niya ay even number, therefore meron siyang square root. So let's have here square root of our a squared, which is equal to a. Square root of 144a squared is, square root of 144 is 12. And the square root of a squared is magiging a raised to the power of 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the exponent will be 1. Kaya magiging 12a. Next, for the value of our b, let's get the square root of b raised to the power of 4. Now, again, to get the square root of a variable, just divide its exponent by 2. So b raised to the power of 4, magiging b raised to the power of 4 divided by 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the new exponent is 2. Kaya magiging b squared. Now, since meron na tayong values ng ating a and b, let us now substitute those values in the pattern a plus b, a minus b. So we will have the factors of 144a squared minus b to the 4th power, which are 12a plus b squared and 12a minus b squared. Now let's have our last example. We have factor 64 over 289m raised to the power of 14 minus 121 over 169m raised to the power of 6 n squared. Now, yung ating conditions ay na-meet. Okay, first, binomial yung given. Pangalawa, yung bawat numerical coefficient natin sa dalawang term na given ay merong square root. And pangatlo, yung exponents ng ating variables ay divisible by 2. So therefore, pwede nating magamit ang difference of two squares na factoring method. Now for the step 2, let us identify the values of a squared and b squared. A squared is equal to the first term, which is 64 over 289m raised to the power of 14. And our b squared is equal to 121 over 169 times m raised to the power of 6 n squared. Now let's get the square roots of both a squared and b squared. We'll have a is equal to the square root of 64 over 289m raised to the power of 14, which is equal to 8 over 17. And then for the variable, just divide the exponent by 2. Kaya 14 divided by 2 will have 7. So therefore, yung square root ng ating a squared is 8 over 17m raised to the power of 7. Now again, take note kung ano yung answer ng exponent na divided by 2, meaning yun yung exponent ng square root ng ating variable. Now for our b naman, let's get the square root of 121 over 169 m to the power of 6 n squared. So the square root of our coefficient is 11 over 13. Now for our variable m, its exponent is 6. So kailangan natin kunin yung kanyang square root, kaya let us divide 6 by 2. The answer is 3. So therefore, m raised to the power of 3 is the square root of m raised to the power of 6. Now to get the square root of n squared, 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So the square root of n squared is n. And nakuha na natin yung values ng ating a and b. So isubstitute na natin sila sa ating pattern na a plus b and a minus b. Yeah, we will have the factors of our given binomial or given polynomial. 8 over 17 m raised to the power of 7 plus 11 over 13 m cubed n. And the other factor is 8 over 17 m raised to the power of 7 minus 11 over 13 m cubed n. And that's it. That is the factor of our given polynomial. And yun lang. I hope merong natutunan. See you sa ating next video.